Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's look, we're gonna go ahead and have a little bit more fun with color, cause why not? I had more time to sit down and film a video for you guys, so I'm really excited to show you how this look turned out. I'm kind of starting to just like have a little bit more time for myself, really learning to just take whatever free time that I have and just sit down and work on my creativity, work on my artistry a little bit more. So I've been able to relax a little bit more just because usually I'm so used to like being on the rush and on the go and just, I don't know, I felt like lately I've been just like trying to move quick, trying to get to like my next destination without really just enjoying the time and just like relaxing and taking my time to get there. So I feel like these are gonna be great opportunities for me to kind of like wind down, just take a step back and just say like, hey Melvin, relax, you know, everything's fine, everything's Gucci. So yeah, I'm pretty much sitting down, doing looks for you guys, and I'm having a lot of fun, so hopefully you guys are enjoying this too. So today we kept it colorful, we did something a little bit more fun and vibrant, and believe it or not, this eye look is very, and I kid you not girl, very simple to do. I only literally have 2 shades on my eyes. 2 shades. If you guys want to continue and watch how this came to be, then just keep on watching. Okay, so my contact lenses have already been put on. Now, I want to do my brows off camera because I usually use the same products, but I actually got something new that I kind of want to try out on camera. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury, the Brow Cheat Pencil. I haven't used this before, so let me see what shade it is. It is in the shade dark brown, so we're gonna go ahead and give this a try today. Now it's super cool because it's actually very defined. It also comes with a little angle, so it gives me a very precise brow edge. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a try. I really like how it's gliding. It's actually doing very close to the Morphe brow pencils. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just comb that through to spread the product throughout the brow. And then I'm still gonna go ahead and use something lighter in the front just because it's something that I'm already used to. However, this is great for that outer edge of the brow. Just like we did in my last video, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Morphe brow pencil in the shade Latte, and I'm gonna go ahead and fill in the front. Okay, so I completed my brows off camera and they've already been carved as well to save some time in this video. And to prime my lids, I went ahead and I used the P.Louise Base Pro in the shade Rumour number 2. Now, because we're going to be using a lot more colorful shades today, I decided to use more of a actual eyeshadow base rather than a concealer. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about this, I actually go on a whole spiel about it in my last video, comparing eyeshadow primers towards concealers. So if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, click on my last video. I'll post it down below as well, or you can just go to my page and just find it there. But yes, I'm gonna go ahead and use this as my shadow base because I want these shadows to grip very well. And because I want to go ahead and use purples today, I'm gonna go ahead and dip into the Jaclyn Hill Bling Boss palette. This is in collaboration with Morphe. This is how the palette looks like. It has a whole bunch of beautiful purple and very kind of like mauve-y pink shades. I may be using another palette, I may, just because I want my transition shade to be a little bit more on the pink side. So let me just go ahead and find something that's slightly similar. So we're going to be using another product from Jaclyn Hill in collaboration with Morphe. This is going to be her Volume 2 palette. And it has a whole bunch of beautiful pink tone and purple shades as well. So I want to go ahead and kind of experiment with this one. As you can see, this palette has already been very well used. I really do like it a lot, especially because, again, like pink tones are usually the colors that I tend to go for the most, especially if I'm wearing my green eyes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with, I want to say, Oh Hello. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my transition shade, and this is gonna be it right here. Now, when it comes to pressed pigments, because this palette is a pressed pigment palette, I'm gonna go ahead and first stamp on the shadow, kind of press it onto place, and then blend it out. I did in my last video, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a fluffy brush that doesn't really have any color in it, and I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of start diffusing this edge. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take kind of a smaller one and really start working on blending out that pigment. So while I'm blending out the pigment, I'm focusing on bringing it out on that outer V, kind of like how I used to normally do with my little wing, and it gives me a more diffused edge. By the way, the brushes I'm using to pack on the shadows are going to be the M573 from Morphe. So like you guys can see, it's like a fluffy packing brush. And then the other one is going to be the M514. This is pretty much how it looks like. It's actually a little bit smaller, but it's because I do like to get a little bit of that wing in the outer corner, that little bit of a flare. So it's like so perfect so that I can actually do that and get that structured edge. Believe it or not, we're only using one shade for this, and look at how beautiful it's packing on the lid. We're only using one shade right now. And one thing that I've been learning, especially with makeup, is just like you don't need like 10 million shadows in order for you to do one look. Like, I know that is very artistic, especially using other shades, and I know that sometimes it does help with the blending. However, I've learned that if you have the proper tools, then you can pretty much just use the most minimal amount of shadows and you get basically almost the same results, because we're literally only just using one shadow at the moment and it already looks so gorgeous on its own. There we go. So that is pretty much our transition shade done there. Let's see what other colors am I gonna go ahead and use. Okay, so switching over, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Bling Boss palette, and I'm really digging this shade right here. It's called Gem. I wanna pack that all over my lid like right now. So let me just go ahead and take a packing brush, and I'm also gonna go ahead and take my brush and just spray it with a little bit of the NYX's Bear With Me spray. This one's super good. It actually makes my shadows cling onto my lid very well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pack that all over the lid. That is such a beautiful pigment. I'm gonna go ahead and take that little tiny brush that I was using at first and kind of blend in between those shades. Now this look is gonna be a lot more smoky than cut creasy, so I'm gonna go back and forth between blending out these shades, but this is such a beautiful color. As you guys can see, I kind of took that purple and I kind of brought it a little bit further up than what I would normally do, especially for my crease area, but it's because okay, so here it looks normal. Here you can see how it covers up a lot of my lid space, so you want to go ahead and if you have hooded eyes kind of like me, then you can go ahead and expand your shadow a little bit past your crease. Really liking the shade. It is gorgeous. So we literally only have 2 shades applied and it already looks like I did a lot to my eyes. Also using shimmer pigments, especially metallic pigments, they already tend to have a lot of dimension to them, so you don't necessarily need to add a lot of shadow because it's already gonna look like there's a lot in there. Depends on how the light is hitting it, but it does look a lot more dimensional. Especially usually I'm always so used to putting on a color in the outer corner just because I do want that dimension in there. It just depends on how the light is reflecting on the pigment, but it looks gorgeous. I go ahead and use the One Size Point Made liner. I'm gonna go ahead and just line my eyes using this. Now this is the best liner ever, period. Point Made by One Size Beauty. This one is gorgeous. It glides on super smooth and it also is a waterproof liner, so it works perfect. Now, I'm not gonna do a big liner. I'm just gonna do like a little baby wing just to line my lashes, just to make them look fuller, thicker, healthier, like I don't. So we're just gonna go ahead and kind of keep it at this, but we're gonna go ahead and move on to the rest of the face. The eyes were actually very simple. Again, we only used 2 shades and then the liner, so this is like perfect, especially if you're trying to get something that's super amped up, but also quick and easy, so yeah. Alright, so I zoomed you guys out a little bit so we can go ahead and work on the skin. For my skin today, I'm gonna go ahead and prime using the One Size Beauty Secure the Blur Primer. Again, I actually talked about this in my last video. I went on a whole like detailed spiel about what I've been using lately, new products that I've been liking. Even though some things are gonna be a little bit more different, this one is gonna be pretty much a go-to. I'm so sorry, my dogs are barking like crazy right now. But this one is gonna be a go-to, especially for the next couple of videos. I've been really liking this product a lot lately. So if you guys wanna learn a little bit more about it, then again, go to my last video. But oof, you can already tell that I've been using this one a lot. This is amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and prime. There we go. So I went ahead and I primed my face, so it's already ready for the foundation. So for my foundation today, we're actually gonna go ahead and take it back a couple notches and this time go a little bit more on the drugstore side. I went ahead and I picked up the Maybelline 24 Hour Super Stay Foundation. I've actually used this one before and I really do like how it looks. It leaves a very natural finish on the skin, but it's still very full coverage, so I definitely do like it a lot. Gonna go ahead and do a couple dots of this foundation and then just taking my beauty blender and blending it out. It's definitely not like the soft matte from NARS, which I played around in my last video, and you guys already know that I really like this foundation a lot, but I wanted to go ahead and kind of experiment with other shades that I have. So today we're gonna go ahead and kind of regress it a little bit and use something more on the drugstore side in case you guys are interested in finding something that was not as expensive, because I'll be honest, that NARS foundation is a little bit on the pricier side, but this one is also a great option. Here we go, and I'm gonna go ahead and take my beauty blender and just blend that out. I actually looked at the timer right now. I looked at my clock and I've literally only been doing this for like 28 minutes, and basically this is where I know that I'm like halfway through my makeup routine. When the eyes are pretty much done and I'm moving on to foundation, that's like the halfway to my makeup routine. I'm like, wow, I'm really speeding lately. I've been learning to speed up my makeup routine lately a lot and learn that there are certain things that I don't really necessarily have to do with my routine. That again, like, every single trend that you see online right now is gonna be different for everybody, so you can always experiment with whichever trends you wanna try out, but then you're gonna discover that there's certain things that are very unnecessary that you don't necessarily have to do. However, again, if you wanna try it out artistically or for practice, then go ahead and do so, no problem with that at all. And for my concealer today, I think I'm gonna go ahead and use Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This one has been, from the get-go, from the beginning of my channel, a trooper. I've used this one a lot and I really do like this concealer a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and dot this in the inner corner of my eyes and then a little bit on the outer corner, kind of following up with, again, the trends that I've been seeing on social media. And I've been learning to really not even cake up my concealer that much. I've learned it's super unnecessary, and at the same time I feel like it does look really heavy over time, so kind of keeping it a little bit more dotted and concentrated on certain areas does tend to make the face look beat, yet still gives you a more natural finish as well. It doesn't feel super duper heavy, but you can still get the same results that you want. But of course, if you love that heavy beat, by all means, go for it, queen. Whenever I do my eyes, I always feel like one of them is a lot more elongated than this one. I don't know why. I think it's because of the kind of like uneven just structure of my face. So obviously once I'm done with my concealer, I always kind of like tend to look exactly where I need to extend my shadow. So this one is gonna get extended later on. Let's just finish with the face first. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and set everything, and if I'm being completely honest, this is something that's not gonna change. I'm using the One Size Beauty Secure the Blur Primer in the shade Translucent. Whew. You heard me talk about this in my last video, so again, if y'all want to see that, if y'all want to hear the spiel, hear the tea, just go ahead and go on to my next video, but I'm going to go ahead and just do the same steps that I did in that video and set my face. There we go, and I'm really pressing the powder against the skin. This is what's going to give you that smoother effect, by really pressing and making sure that the powder is stamped on, that foundation is cemented in place, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, so I went ahead and I completed one side off camera so that I can pretty much see exactly where we were going with this, so we're gonna go ahead and mimic this on this side. So, you guys ready? We're gonna go ahead and move on to liner. So for the waterline, I'm gonna be taking the Makeup by Mario, the Master Pro Pigment Liner. This one's in the shade Deep Plum. I think I said that right. Master Pigment Pro Pencil Liner Deep Plum. That's what we're going for. And I'm gonna go ahead and kind of run that a little bit towards the lower lash line. I'm gonna go ahead and take the back side, which is a brush, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and blend that out. Super quickly before that sets, I'm gonna take Oh Hello again on a pencil brush. This one is the E36 by Morphe. I'm gonna go ahead and smudge the bottom lash line out. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to even out the top part with the bottom part of my eyes. And I'm also gonna connect that bottom lash line with the wing. I'm gonna go ahead and take Gem, which is the shade that we have on the lid right now. Is that gonna be that beautiful metallic purple. I'm gonna go ahead and with the same packing brush that we were using before, because it's a little bit more firm, I'm gonna get really close to the waterline, okay? For my mascara, I'm gonna be using the Morphe Make It Black Mascara. For my lashes, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Mie Cosmetic Lashes in the style Expensive. Okay, so moving on to the rest of the face, I'm gonna go ahead and start bronzing and just adding everything else over it. So for today's bronzer, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Anastasia Powder Bronzer. This one's in the shade Cappuccino. This is pretty much how it looks like. Now, I'll be completely honest and say this is a little too red for my skin. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm mainly just gonna focus this on certain areas and then I'm gonna try and blend it out using another bronzer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep this mainly concentrated right along the hairline. And then kind of drag the color in very, very softly. I'm gonna do the same thing right here on the cheek. Just drag that color in super duper softly. And this is a pretty amped up look, so I'm not too scared of going super extra with my bronzer. But at the same time, it's just the undertone. Like I said, it's just a little too red for my skin. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of do things a little lighter and then blend them out later using another product. Now, already see how my cheeks and my temple are extremely carved out now. And what I did also was that I held my brush. This one is the... it doesn't have a name here because it actually came in a kit. I believe this one is the E2 by Morphe, but correct me if I'm wrong. And because it's angled, what I'm doing is I'm holding it at that angle and I'm kind of sweeping it towards the front. So that way I can get that little bit of a sharp edge and it gives me that little bit of an angle, that brightening angle right over here. So, if I'm being honest, I may not even use another bronzer. I can just only stick to this one, just work with the blendability of it. So same thing here, concentrating it, especially around the hairline, and then just very softly bringing the product towards the center of the brow. If you feel like you have a bronzer that you feel like it's not your right skin shade, you can definitely still kind of finagle and play with it. You don't necessarily have to either return it or get a new one. It's always exactly how you play with your bronzers. Okay, so there we have our bronzer. I personally still think that it's a little too red, especially along this area. I kind of think it looks okay in the cheeks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and try to bring those tones down a little bit. For that, I'm gonna go ahead and take my MAC Studio Fix powder. This one's in the shade NC42. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of sweep that along my forehead a little bit. It gives me a little bit more coverage as well, so it's a good blender, especially if you still want to get that full coverage finish. I'm just using this to kind of even out the skin tone a little bit because again, the bronzer is just slightly too red for me. I'm gonna go ahead and just run that a little bit through my cheeks as well. So we're gonna go ahead and just brighten a little bit more under the eyes, and for that I'm using the Dragon Beauty Transformation Powder. You guys also saw me use this in my last video and I really do enjoy it a lot. It does leave a smoother finish and it really does brighten to the full potential. So I'm using the exact same tulip brush and then gonna go ahead and just drag that under the eyes. And you can see the difference literally from the get-go. Like, this side looks a lot brighter, it definitely looks a lot smoother, and to me, I feel like it makes my face look a lot more lifted. I'm gonna go ahead and snatch the nose using the same bronzer from before. I think, however, I'm gonna go ahead and use something different, especially to elongate it, just because, again, like I said, this color is just a little too red for the skin. So I'm mainly just using that bronzer right in the inner top portion of my nose, just because it's gonna bring my nose together. It's gonna make it look a lot more narrow. It kind of brings my brows together a little bit more too. And I think for the bottom part, I'm just gonna go ahead and dip into my Fenty. She's a little lighter, but definitely super good, especially for bringing this nose together still. There we go. She's coming together. She's coming together. She's slowly but surely coming together. We like it. We stand. Okay, so because we are wearing more purple, usually for the blush, I would pair it up with something that's very similar to the color scheme. So usually something pink would be a little bit better. However, I'll be honest and say pink is not really a color that suits my skin when it comes to blush. But If it's something like a warmer tone pink, then it's something that I can do. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the shade Goals. This one is from the 8W palette from Morphe. This one is an amazing blush palette. You actually get quite a few highlighters in here at the top, and then the bottom is all gonna be warm tone matte shades. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Goals, which is definitely a more pink toned blush with a slight bit of shimmer, and I'm gonna go ahead and place that right on my cheeks. This blush has a slight bit of shimmer to it, so it already adds kind of like the beginning of a highlighting effect, and it's gorgeous. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of blend that towards the hairline and a little bit towards the temples as well. Now for my highlighter today, I'm gonna go ahead and dip into Narcissus Illuminating Loose Powder. This one's in the shade Orgasm. This is actually their most popular highlighting shade, and like let me just see if I can show you exactly how that looks like, but it's a gorgeous loose pigment. It does have a little bit of a gold reflex, which I really do like as well. Now to set everything, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and just gonna go ahead and do one fine misting of everything. Now, I already blanked out my lips because we're gonna go ahead and move on to the lipstick, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the Guide Me Lip Liner by Morphe and just line the lips. And then for the center, I'm gonna go ahead and take Single AF by Morphe. This is a gorgeous nude mauve lipstick. I love it so much. And to top it off, I'm gonna use Frolic Lip Gloss by Morphe. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and change, and I'll be right back. So that is it for this purple, bold, smoky eye. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, of course, like, comment, subscribe to my channel. You know, the usual, all the links will be down below, as well as the list of products that I used in this video. Now, if you guys have any requests on anything that you guys want to learn, of course, leave it in the comment down below, or you can even message me on any of my social medias as well. Taking requests right now, and I love sitting down and teaching you guys new things. I love talking, I love interacting with you guys. Overall, in general, that's just me. I just love teaching and interacting, so if you guys want me to teach you guys something in particular, of course, let me know. But I hope to see you guys next time, and bye!